Hey, what up YouTube? Fallout here. It is September 21st and we just got the new TWID dropped on us from Bungie. I'm going to give a short recap on the fly today. Hope you enjoy. Okay, first up, Bungie covers the crafting, aka all the hoops that they had to jump through in order to fix the game. If you weren't aware, the game was completely broken over the weekend. A big mess with weapon crafting that made you capable of Frankensteining some of the wildest guns ever seen in the game. I think Bungie just really wanted us to know that they were actually doing work over the weekend on this issue. They weren't just kind of putting their feet up while we were burning in hell, so to say, in PvP. Anyway, TLDR on that, the issue should finally be fixed, maybe, knock on wood, depending on if Cheese Forever puts up a new video on his YouTube channel today. But yeah, that should all be dead and done and over now. You can return to the game if you got your booty clapped in PvP over the weekend. Next up, and this one is kind of big, apparently there was a hidden feature added into the game at the beginning of Season 22 called Deterministic Recoil. Literally a hidden weapon feature included in every new weapon that dropped into the game in Season 22. The short version is, new weapons in D2 in Season 22 have predictable recoil patterns that are specific not to the weapon archetype, but to the individual weapon themselves. The goal with this was to create weapons with more predictable recoil and allow players to be able to truly master individual weapons in a way that wasn't possible before in the game with standard weapon recoil. This may actually explain a lot because I've talked to a lot of players who feel really good about the new weapons in Season 22, and I know many players are in love with the kept confidence hive hand cannon, which is a new weapon in Season 22. They could be loving it due to the hidden deterministic recoil feature baked into the gun. Bungie goes on to explain that they've worked with the security team when making this new hidden recoil feature because they wanted to make sure that it wouldn't be exploitable by people with things like, I'm sure they were going to mention maybe the Cronus or the Zim, things that would allow players to hack the system kind of and really predict and master, quote unquote, the new hidden recoil system. So yeah, they worked with the security team to make sure that people can't take advantage of that hidden new weapon feature. And moving forward, I think this might be the start of a new thing in D2. I guess Bungie will eventually confirm, but in Season 23, we may have more weapons that use this system, allowing players to more fully master recoil patterns of new individual weapons. And maybe certain weapons might feel better to use because of their unique recoil pattern. Now that we know that this is a thing, I think I'd like to dive into this a little bit deeper in a future video. If that's something y'all want to see, maybe me exploring the individual recoil patterns of each unique weapon in Season 22 or something to that degree, let me know by clicking the like button. Next up, something I'm actually really goddamn hype about, Thorn is getting an exotic catalyst, something I've been asking for literally forever because it is one of my favorite hand cannons in the game. Always really appreciated and enjoyed Thorn's utility in PvP. I felt that just with a little bit more help, it would shine very brightly. The catalyst is coming in Season 23, aka next season, and by default it gives more range and stability, and by dealing a final blow or absorbing a remnant, you'll get even more weapon range and extra mobility and handling for a short time. I was just hoping for either more range or more stability by default, and I got so much more. I feel like the new Thorn Catalyst is going to be great in Season 23, and you should absolutely be prepared for people to use it in PvP. Next up, if you haven't seen it yet, Bungie links a trailer of the Pale Heart, aka one of the new locations in D2 coming in the final shape. I'll go ahead and link that below in the pinned comment if you haven't seen it yet. Next up, also if you haven't seen it yet, apparently the D2 YouTube channel has been dropping a bunch of new content today, which I will link down in the pinned comment. We got previews of all the new supers coming in the final shape, as well as previews of new aspects coming as well. I'm gonna be completely honest, the Warlock one unfortunately isn't really doing it for me. It kind of seems like we have Bonk Hammer Titan at home. Meanwhile, the Titan and Hunter ones look great. Titans get to throw multiple void axes for damage, which you and the boys can then pick up and use, as well as a mobile mini barricade, which I think you can charge up by taking damage and then boop the enemy way far away. Hunters get an arc super where you throw a knife and then you can just teleport right to it and murder anybody there, and their new aspect lets you do a little arc helicopter move while in the air, which seems to be kind of like a junior landfall attack. Very badass looking, can't wait. I will also link those below if you want to check them out. Okay, more important in-game stuff, because last weekend got completely effed up by the crafting. We are getting a total trials redo this weekend, meaning we are getting Javelin 4 as the map again, and the Adept Igneous Hammer will be dropping all weekend. Hell to the yeah. The Master Crota raid is in the game right now. First challenge on the lantern encounter, if you're interested, is that your team can only enlighten one lantern in between depositing the chalice each time. Not too difficult of a challenge, got an adept drop on that already, go give it a whirl. And finally, if you're still waiting on the Crota 48-hour challenge emblem, the update is there is no update. Bungie still working on it, apparently. Do me a favor and click the like button on today's video, would help me out a ton. There's more info in the TWID, but I wanted to trim out the non-in-game stuff. Shout out to my Patreon supporters, appreciate all of you. No end credit thingy today, as my lovely editor is still on vacation until next week, and I want to let her enjoy that vacation. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.